afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, beautiful Iron Sheik 84, and to my left or right is Bodacious D Brown. Good
Uh,
afternoon, lady.
are you beautiful Bobby Eaton today? Is that what we're
Yeah,
going for?
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Bodacious Becky from the worst version of Becky in the game that's new. Is that what you're saying?
I forgot if it was like. Oh, I was gonna say it was Sweet Stan Lane, beautiful
Yeah.
Bobby Eaton, and then I forgot what Dennis Condrey was called. So I was just kind of was like, Bodacious
Bodacious.
works.
I like that. That works out. That works nicely. Oh, well, how are you doing, Sheik? How's life treating you?
Doing good. Just living life, enjoying it one day at a time, running errands, watching Little Chic, all the good stuff. So
Nice. What's up, Verdu? Verdu also won on the stream. So just real quick before we get the episode started, I just everything weird went wrong behind the scenes for the giveaway stream. We were supposed to have what's up, Godflow? We were supposed to have some very specific packs like hype packs, and there was going to be a mega or two in the mix and some of that. And literally, like the tool that they used was giving G trouble, and by the end of it, it was just like, can we just do 15 $20 packs? I was like, whatever, like let's just go, because we were 2 hours past when I was supposed to stream all that stuff. So yeah, it went nuts. So thank you to everybody who stuck around on that and just appreciated the piece behind the scenes, because then like it was we don't need to talk about it. It was a mess. But yeah, Rusty does look different today, Godflow. It's the hat. It's the hat. That's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah. What's up, Crazy Dina?
What's up, Crazy Dina? Great 708 or 7805. Sorry. Yeah. So, Sheik, I have a question for you. I don't know if this is you, but I feel behind in a lot of aspects of the game this month. Like I feel like I'm a lot less ahead than I normally would be. Is that also your story right now?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I'm like so far ahead. I finished week one. I recruited everybody,
Oh
and
man.
I took a nap, and I came back, and I was still number one. So I have no idea what you're
Crazy.
talking about.
Wow.
Well, no, yeah, certainly. I feel like I'm behind not only in the shards, but also this is something that happens every single month. Uh, I always feel like I'm not gonna make it till the end, and then I freak out, and then I end up finishing the contest with like an extra 150,000 points, and
Right?
then of course, I go like, oh, what did I ever buy? What was I freaking out about last week?
Right? Yeah, yeah, and I think that's probably going to be the case. This is next week we can figure out did it actually go wrong, but in a couple areas, like especially, I did recruit Alistair this weekend, but it took me using some of the prize wall medallions things to get him. Usually, I've got the A tier by like week two. Typically, I would be at the S tier by now, and I don't know if it's because it's a 5 week or whatever, but I'm still far enough away that I'm like, oh, I hope there's enough shards this week. But especially for me, we'll talk about TP in a moment, but especially on the armory stuff, I normally max the armory event pretty handily each month. And right now, I am not even, like, if I were to have the same week that I've had the last few weeks, I wouldn't get the moment at all, and I'm not on track by any means to get Julia's gear. I made the decision I was going to save instead of doing polls. I was going to save for Julia's gear and just do that. Right now, it doesn't look like I'm going to get either of them, which would be the first time in a long time that I haven't done those. I don't know. Like yeah, like great 708 or 7805 said in here. We'll know in a few days, right? But are you similar on that, or is it just the shards that you're feeling pinched on?
So, you know that, like, for me, like, I always talk about my wonderful taste test that I do with the gift card money.
Yeah.
There haven't been a lot of them around recently, so I don't have as many, like, freebie pulls or, like, my
Dang.
freebie pulls as I typically do.
Right.
And I know there's a difference between us, and again, not casting shade, it's whoever does pulls, that's your business.
Sure.
how I do, how I choose to play the game is my business.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way that it typically works is during the faction boss weekend, which I know, like, there's always like the, you know, feud
Right.
showdown boss, however they split up the month.
Right.
Typically, by the faction boss week, I have the A tier recruited,
Right.
and then by the time that the Flash feud comes, I have the S tier,
Right.
and then I also finish like maxing out the event that weekend.
Right.
As far as the armory loot goes, so I usually get to like I just kind of I looked at mine right now. So if 19's the max, which is like it is right now, I typically get to like 15 or 16, maybe 17. But I actually don't max the armory events.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like looking at it right now, I'm about 300 away from recruiting. Just pulling it up on my phone. 290 away from Alistair Black. I'm 610 away from Julia, and then I'm like, what is it? 151,007 points away from Max in the solo. So I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I'm behind or, back further than where I need to be. And, I've been playing like I normally do. It's not like I
Right.
skipped an event or, oh, like, I didn't grind this one the way I normally grind this one,
Right.
So I hope that with the full week left that, maybe it's just all in my head and I'm able to finish it out strong like I always do.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, and the last few they've been like 5 week events. This one's a 4 week event. The week long, I'm assuming this is a week long if the calendar is to believed. So normally the week long would hit, and we'd still have another week after that. So it gives some more time. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, but yeah, I'm pretty close to the same on my Julia recruit. And originally at the start of this month, I was like, man, I'm gonna get Julia. Should get her gear, get the moment. She's gonna be stacked. And now I'm like, oh, I just hope I get Julia. Like I hope. It does seem like it's been a little bit tighter this month. Part of that I think is there are times where I get the A tier earlier in the month, and then every week you have the A tier, you get more armory loot, you get more TP, you get more blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And literally, I didn't get Alistair until this weekend, and then well, you'll see my polls videos are dropping here, but I did go pretty hard for Haku. I ended up 40 shards short, and this is not what I was trying to do, but just who you are. I want to give a big shout out to your generosity. I just posted in one of the rant rooms. I was like, so like after all these polls, I'm 40 shards short, and someone was like, hey, let me send you some pull, a little bit of money and you get some pull. So sent me just enough to get the 40 shards. So thank you, that person. I did end up getting Haku. But even with now Haku and Alistair for at least one of the weeks, I'm still very behind in those. And let's be honest. So here's the other side of this crunch in there. Rusty would often say like, "Hey, it's time for the economy to go up. We need a cost of living increase." I literally had to pull everything I possibly could off the prize walls just to get enough TP to take Haku, and then I ran out of Undertaker's dusters and had to go find those. Like literally just trying to get Haku to 6 gold so I could max the event. It was, I mean, I almost couldn't do it. Literally, almost could not do it with the resources in game. So similarly, are you feeling the TP crunch? Like, are you feeling the no? Oh, dang.
I'm gonna troll you with some screenshots later.
Dang it. It's just me then. Never mind. Nobody else in the
Yeah.
community is short on TP. It's just me.
Yeah. So no, the thing that I've said is I'm really conservative with people that I move up, and also like like you also gain a lot more people than I do because it's like your pulls. I'm not. I actually did get Penta this weekend, so
Nice. I
that's
saw
one.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one big thing that I can that I'm super stoked for, and I got his since I did have like Solo and Jay from from the last week Blitz or whatever it was.
Right.
I was able to get Penna's gear, so I have that ready to go.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm super stoked about that. But yeah, you know those old screenshots that I sent you of like all this stuff that I have in reserve for just in case.
Yeah.
I still have those, and then looking at my posters right now, I think the lowest that I have right now is 72,904 for red, and then every other one I'm over 135,000, and then I have 262,000 for blues. So yeah,
Dang.
I got plenty.
All right. Well, I'm glad for it just to be me then, I
Yeah.
suppose, but dang, like that's. I mean, literally, I went down to zero black. I've got, I think, 400 purple, like not 400,000, like 400, like enough to
Hmm.
max a 5-star bronze move, and that's it on there. So, Talent Up starts in, well, 2 minutes. So after we're done recording, I'm going to hop on, or I'm going to do some Talent Up either on the stream or on my own, either way. And I've got about 1.5 billion coin and no TP. So, and again, the like the Undertaker dusters, stuff like that. Like I'm running out all those too. So I don't know if it's just because I've gone so hard on the last few talent ups. Maybe you can teach me your ways. Like how do you max the talent up and still create a horde of resources? Because I'm just not doing that apparently.
Yeah. So I've had a hoard of resources for quite some time. I know I've sent you like my old photos, and then I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna open these until I absolutely need them.
Right.
Um, so one thing with me is, like I said, I'm super conservative with how I do things. So like if I were to pour every single resource that I had into putting, into who I have, like so I'm at 13 mil right now. I'm pretty sure I could easily hit 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Uh, if I was very, if I played it right and didn't just sink coin into people who don't deserve it, but
Right.
uh, I always specifically wait for like I only do stuff during talent ups. When I recruit people, I leave like there's a lot of like low level people that I keep, so that way when it is time for me to do like on the old Master Manager, it was like, oh, it's like
Yeah.
increase like your striker by 10,000. Like I'd be like, oh hey, I got this person, like I got this 6-star fuse off of a wall. Like it's like I recruited him at level 1. I was like for you know 2 million coin, I can get 10,000 points easily.
Right.
So that's something that I used to do, and I know things have changed right now, but that's pretty much it. Is just being conservative, not like purposely leaving people low level to do that. And I understand that that's not possible for everybody, and
Right.
even I've run out of like situations like that because we used to have 17 talent ups a week.
I know.
Yeah, so it's like so that kind of drained my resources. Nowadays, even during TUs, like you were saying, since I have so much TP, I try to kind of go through. First of all, I go through my entire roster with an old school just a pad of paper. It's like or on my computer, like on my notepad, and I just okay, who do I actually want to move up? And then if I can't think of anybody, instead of just willy nilly moving people up that don't, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take Dolph Ziggler from 5-star, from 4-star silver to 6-star gold. Like, I don't do stuff like that. But what I do is like I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, well this person got released 3 months ago. They're a 36K trainer. They're gonna be good on this character that I have. So okay, I'm for the training ability. I'll go ahead and rate them.
Right.
And then, and then I kind of just like I take a look at my tokens. I don't. I know some people do a lot more. It's like where they're like, oh, I'm gonna like do this here, do this here, and plan it out. Probably like Slim does. I,
Yeah.
I kind of just, I kind of just wing it, but I do try to do some prep ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah, similar. I keep a list, like an Apple Note of like who I want to work on next, what I want to do with them. Although like for example, not that I it happens often, but every once in a while I do get the weekend character like this weekend, even though it took a little way more than I planned. And then you obviously are incentivized for taking him to 6 gold right away. Like that was how you max this weekend's event, was by getting him to 6 gold, doing a level 23 with your faction, etc., etc. So I blew talent up today because of yesterday. So, oh, nice, Fish Can't. That's awesome. That's how I got my Kevin Owens Relentless. I pulled a set of pulls out of the bag and went ahead and did them. And that's, yeah, I finally pulled KO Relentless after all
Oh,
this time.
congrats.
So, go get them. Yes. So
Yeah.
that kind of, I guess that's the question: is does it feel, if it's just me, I'm glad for it to just be me. But if it feels kind of more universal that this month is a little more resource intensive, and yet we're not quite on track like we would be. I don't know. Like the new event just dropped. It's reset right now, so maybe there's
Yeah.
something in there that I can't see yet. That it's like, oh, here's where all the resources went. Here's where all the armory loot went.
Yeah, well, the one thing I will say, by the way, I'm gonna throw in my terrible dad joke because I want to
Nice.
get it. I want to get out of the way. This showdown, is it in the specific region of France it needs to be? Otherwise, it needs to be called Sparkling Wine Showdown.
Nice. But
Yeah.
oh.
No, well, I remember one. Okay, so I don't remember the specific like stream that it happened or when it happened. I just remember it was within the last 6 months. Maybe it was a month ago, maybe it was 6 months ago. I don't know. But I remember Two Bob was always like, "Oh yeah, you have to have like you have to have a reserve just in case." And he's like, and people are like, "Well, how much is the reserve?" And he's like, "Oh, you should at least, it's like you should never dip below 10 billion coin and blah blah blah." And I was like,
Jeez.
"Hey, must be nice to be you, buddy."
Wow, I
Yeah, and I
guess
don't mean that in a bad
so.
way, of course, but I was just like, yeah, it's like that's not real realistic for a lot of people out there. I don't think I've ever hit
No.
10 billion coin actually.
I
Now that
haven't
I think about
I
it,
haven't either. There's a guy that's named Owen who's on Discord and messages me every once in a while. His express goal is to have the most amount of coin in the game, and he is sitting on, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if he wants that shared, but he is sitting on just an absolute gold mine of coins. And I'm like, my goodness, if you just invested that into your roster, you'd have the biggest roster in the game, buddy. Like, I swear. But that's his goal. And so, I've always said I play things a little bit differently. I do all in all the time kind of methods. So I am willing to go down to no resources to max events, and it usually balances out, but it's a little different right now. It doesn't seem to be working this month quite the way it has in the past. I don't know,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah,
But I do, yeah. But I will say this: I do agree with the Rusty thing. I think I've said this every single time that I've ever been asked about like economies of scale. There are so many things that need to be updated in the game, and I never want to seem. I told you I always want to be positive and not just come in with negativity like some people. That's like, oh, this game is the worst and blah 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 blah. Well, like if this game is making you so unhappy, there's tons of other wrestling games. Go play that. No, no,
right,
no. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to stop playing. But but the reason why I say that is like I think it's fantastic that like milestones and stuff now are giving out like 10 million, 20 million coin instead of like 500,000 or whatever.
right.
But I've definitely pointed this out. Like even with the last showdown refresh that they did, what was that? What 4 months ago or something like that? At this point,
Something like that.
do you remember when it was like? Um, I'm looking at mine right now. Uh, the most TP or that I've seen offered at a time is 5,000. And like kind of like what you said, like it's like once you get in the 6-star category, that's barely enough for 2 move upgrades if you're lucky.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like the quote unquote like the daily offerings are 300 TP. 300 TP won't even, I would have to play show. I would have like you'd have to play Showdown for 4 days to have enough to move to to take up one 6-star bronze move,
Right.
which to me is like, I'm like, come on, like, like there is a balance. You don't need to give out, 14 billion coin, but also giving out like a million, or like whatever it is. Like there's got to be a better middle ground. And I know I've talked
Absolutely.
about this as well. That faction store needs a major, major update because
Yes.
let's see, I'm just saying again, bringing up my shop right now. I can get 100,000 coin for 3,400 faction coins, and I can get a 10 TP bag on sale for 75% off. Like that, like I just said, I was like, they that's nothing. That's a waste of my time
Right.
clicking on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. There's, I mean, they've done a good job at upgrading the economy in certain areas, but then they kind of get like, then they'll move over here to do this one, but then this one starts lagging behind, and then they'll move over here to do this one, and this one
Yeah.
starts lagging. So that's hard to keep up with, for sure. But yeah, definitely. Like in an era where it takes 4,000 TP to make one move, why are we getting 10 TP bags? you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
But
and definitely, and like I said, I don't want to focus on the negative because I told you, like, I think they have been giving out tons of TP. I like the
right.
fact that the showdowns, like, if you do the showdowns every single day, and as you move up your milestones, they give you plenty, and they also give you, it's like in your daily rewards, in your inbox. You get a lot. I'm not saying by any means that they haven't improved it, but just there's some, like you said, it's like they fix it here, and then you're like, hey, this needs to be fixed. Then this gets fixed, and then you're like, hold on a minute, this one's down here now. It's
Right.
just sometimes I wish there was like a level load across the board versus fixing one and the other. And then I know I've told you before that when they do this, like I wish they had like a seasonal update every like 3 months or 6 months or hell even a year,
Yeah.
so that way like it stays in the meta or whatever it is, rather than being like 2, 3, 4 years behind, like when I was talking about the old showdown shop where I was just like, hey, I've recruited everybody in here. I was like, 100,000 coin isn't going to do anything for me, so like I was sitting on like 5 or 6 or 7 million old showdown coins for no reason.
Wow. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I guess it's just kind of how you play. Like if you sit on your resources and strategically use them, or you go all in, like it's going to be different. But the fact that like I've literally gone all in every time. That's kind of my method. And I think you and I are maybe 100 Julia shards apart. Like, so I'm dumping everything, and you're sitting here going like, I've still got all I need, and I'm maybe 100 shards ahead. Like maybe, like that's.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, well, but the good thing is that everybody has their different play styles, and
Yeah.
just because I play one way doesn't mean that I'm right. It's like the way that you play doesn't mean that you're right. We're both equally as right as we can be in the way that we play the game.
Yeah, it's just where you're trying to get by the end of things, basically. So,
Yeah.
so I didn't plan on talking about this, but somebody just said in the chat like, "Hey, by the way, the new prize wall's up. They're selling the moment. There are things like that." I do want to caution people just real quick. That moment takes 4 to unlock. So make sure you recognize if you drop $30, you are not getting the moment. You're getting 1 out of 4 of the moments, which means it's going to be a $120 moment, basically. And I am looking on the prize wall right now, and there's a new Haku plate that, by the way, CC's didn't get any heads up, didn't know it was coming. But there's a new Haku plate, which is awesome for his gym damage build. But I don't see the moment in there. That is the Clash moment, the Hogan versus Vader moment in there at all. So basically, be aware if you're going to get that Clash moment, you're going to spend, it looks like, $30 a day for 4 days. So 120 total dollars. So just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was one time where I wasn't paying attention and I had like the extra gift card money to do that, and I was like, oh, now I gotta invest. Well, the term invest, but I'm saying it's free money for me.
Right.
But I was just like, oh, great. I was like, I gotta buy the other three, otherwise I have this pointless thing sitting in my inventory. Uh, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Like Lee said, as you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good looking prize wall. We can examine that here in a little bit. Before we finish out podcast episode wise, I'm just curious. I don't want to share too much behind the scenes stuff or say things I shouldn't for other people, but like how has hype? How has this month? How has this new era? Whatever. How has it impacted your faction? Because I know our faction took a massive hit this month, and so I'm just curious if that's just us, if we just had a bad moment, or if it was if that was kind of more universal. I'm just curious.
So uh, I know we talked about it, so I don't want to like break the like take away what you have to say.
Right.
We actually did have people who quit the game
Yeah, we did too.
because there were I don't want to say it was a ton, but there were a handful of people who were like, "Hey, look, like I've been losing interest in the game, but I wanted to keep playing because I like this faction. I enjoy spending time playing with with everybody
Right.
here, et cetera, et cetera." You know, but they got to the point where they were like, I wanted to try out this, like the new metas, see how
Mm-hmm.
I felt. But then when they said when hype came out, they were just like, you know what, like I don't like hype, and this has killed whatever interest I had left in the game, and I don't want to do this anymore. So some of them went to like like I know how like Rusty went to the Black Pearl. Some of them said, "Hey, I don't want to do that. Like I want to keep playing, but I'm just going to go to a much lower faction." And
Right.
then others were just like, "Hey, I this may not be goodbye forever, but it's certainly going to be goodbye for now." And we
Interesting.
lost some really great players because of it.
Dang. Yeah, I feel like, again, we've talked about hype. I think it's a big swing. Merrick's has said many times, like, the hype itself, he loves. The implementation, he didn't, and etc. But yeah, our faction, so we had kind of a mix. We had some of our bigger hitters just said, you know what, we're actually going to go up to some like we're a top 10 faction. They wanted to be in the top 5, top 1, whatever. So that happens. When you're kind of in that top 20 range, you always have some people who are uncomfortable at that level and want to go lower, and some people who want to keep pushing higher. So that's kind of a part of it. We did lose a few who quit the game just outright, and I'm curious because I've noticed, and we talked about this, Rusty and I did on the thinking about retiring episode. It's really interesting to me, kind of the retirement aspect of this game, because I've talked to a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm just tired of the game, I'm gonna walk away, and then like 3 weeks later I'll see something and I'm like, wait a second, what's that person doing? Is like, oh yeah, I quit for 2 weeks and I came back. So like it almost, like the way that people refer to the game sometimes is almost like when they try to quit smoking. They're like, yeah, quit yesterday. Oh, but I just couldn't, like it's funny. But I oftentimes see people quit and then a couple months later they're back. And by that point, the bugs or whatever you want to call it, the newness of that new mode or that new thing has worn off, and they're like, oh, okay, now I can hop in. And or like hype points, they're more restricted up front, but then maybe they start loosening them up later, who knows. But yeah, B-Rock says it's about the amount they've invested in their rosters. I mean, that's true, but I have seen some of the biggest spenders in the game walk away before as well too. So it's yes, that is true, but it's also, some have left. So
Yeah, well, what is it? Well, I remember. Was it Roger something that got banned, and we were like, "Oh my god, he was like I." Basically, his spending was on par with Ed.
oh geez.
and then something happened, and he got banned, and we're like, we're kind of like, I forget what it was for, but like, yeah, his account got banned because he was doing something happened or whatever. We're like, oh man, it's like somebody who was on par with Ed on spending got banned. So I know that's
Yeah.
more of a side note, but
No,
I think
that's
it was Roger
crazy.
Enigma, maybe.
Roger Enigma.
Uh,
Maybe. I mean,
I
for those, like, it's an open secret in the community. Like, if you look for Ed's name in like whatever event it is, the top person or at least the top couple are almost
yeah,
always there. And I don't want to know how much it costs to get there, but
yeah. But no, I know it's a bit of a. I'm just saying that's a side note. That was more of a side note, like
sure.
well, because I remember like when you're talking about people who come in and go, like I've lost count on how many times Mob Father's sworn off the game.
Yeah. Yeah. But then
Yeah,
I had to get my hit.
yeah. Um,
Oh, and Nature Boy says, I want to be added to Ed's will.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, well, what is it? Ever since that Chicago group bought it, it isn't as good as it used to be.
Oh.
I'll fully admit that.
Oh, wow. Dang. They're getting some heat on Sheik today. I like it.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like, I will say this. Like, let's just say they come out next month and they say, hey, the game's going to be gone. I don't think I'd regret anything, as
Yeah.
far as like time and things that I've spent in the game. The thing that I would be saddest about, honestly, is the collaboration and the fun I've had with everybody. That's what I would miss most, not the, oh, hey, I spent this money or I grinded out all this stuff in the game. Like,
Right.
I'd miss everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like when we started this YouTube channel, I started it by going back through all these talent ups that literally I had recorded or like roster milestones. They weren't talent ups, they were roster milestones. I had recorded for like 2, 3 years before I never had an intention of being on Twitch, YouTube, all this kind of stuff. And I kind of said on those, like, I've just disproportionately loved this game. Just quick story, but I just read an article saying that Final Fantasy VII Redux is coming to Switch 2, which I don't have a Switch 2, but what it made me think is literally that was like a birthday gift I asked for. I got the download card and all that for Final Fantasy, 7 Part 2 basically on the PS5, all that good stuff. I literally have never played it once, and that's my favorite game series of all time. But part of it is like, yes, I'm working 2 jobs. Yes, there's not much meat on the bone for time. But what free time I do have, I want to play Champion. Like, I enjoy playing Champions. I really do. And so, yeah, same. I don't think the game's going away next month or anything like that. I don't think there's a
Yeah,
in sight right now. But
yeah,
I agree. I agree. I would miss playing the game if it went away. I would miss the community if it went away. And yes, hype's taking a little bit more of a get used to curve than some of the other modes, but we've argued it left and right, so I won't go over it again. But basically, I feel like we're actually probably in the same spot we would be for most cases, not every, but most cases, if it were 7 star, where you hit the 7 star wall and the spenders have 7 stars where you don't, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like all of that would have been true if they hadn't done anything. And if they had just gone to 7 star and maybe it added another move, but that was basically it, or it was a move damage meta, but that was basically it, then people would be like, gosh, it's just the same old thing. At
yeah,
least it's different.
yeah,
Would I change hype? Yes, there are aspects of it I would change, but at least it's different, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. Well, anything you've got on your mind before we in this episode and maybe transition to some other content together?
No, just I'm looking forward to seeing what the week brings. I'm trying to think like, no, just nothing else. Just I have so much stuff to do. I have a housewarming party on Saturday, so
Nice.
most of in between champions is going to be planning for a big pool party at Sheik's house. So
Nice.
that's about it.
Well, I hope that's fun for you.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
if your time's up, you can hop. Or I was just going to run over the week long prize wall and some stuff like that real quick if you want to hop in for that. But separate from this recording, we can do that on
Uh,
another. I mean,
or
like in this video and go to another.
do you think it'll be just so that
What's that?
I can kind of get like, oh, how long do you think it'll be to go over the prize wall?
Usually those are only like 10 minutes or so,
I
typically.
can do that, but then I gotta
Yeah.
bounce after that.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
yeah,
good. Sounds good. Well then,
okay,
that's the end of this episode. Iron Sheik, tell them how to find you and how to watch your awesome content.
alrighty. So as always, on all the socials, on Twitch, YouTube, everything, you can find me at Iron Sheik 84, and make sure to hit that follow button, click the bell and notification symbols, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff to Champions Chat podcast on all the socials, on the YouTube, on the Twitch for the wonderful content made by Lee Brown, and then his two substitute people, myself and Slim Numbers. I don't know Slim's not here, but make sure yeah, SlimNumbres. Make sure to find him and throw him a like, a comment, and a subscribe as well.
I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.